so it ended 0-0. Lots of things to really unpack. I'll begin with Coach Christopher Nimley, who was at the stadium, of course. Coach, there's a lot to say, but for you, what were some of the standout moments for you in this particular game?
Look, to be honest with you, when the game started, there were certain things I was interested in. I wanted to see how, first and foremost, we will approach the game in quarters. When I say in quarters, the first 15 minutes, second 15 minutes, last 15 minutes of the first half.
Right.
What will be our approach? I was impressed with the first 15 minutes. No two ways about that. Now, after the first 15 minutes, the two teams had laid down exactly what they were all about and exactly what they were going to do tactically on the day. Mm-hmm. That is where now the in-game coaching should have started. And I've said it on several platforms. That is where our four coaches, personally to me, they disappointed me.
Really?
Yes. To be honest with you.
Okay, explain.
We were the home team.
Okay.
They had gotten their tactics right in terms of the 4-2-3-1 because I had said, if I'm the one in charge, that is what I would do. Having watched this Nigerian team play, either go 4-2-3-1 or go back three.
Wasn't it a 4-3-3 maybe?
No. On the face of it, anytime Baba Idrisu came into midfield, it was a 4-2-3-1. It became a back three when we tried building from the back. So before I come there, they got the tactics on the day very spot on. No two ways about that. Now, once the game started, then within every tactics, there will be movement. Now, you look at what your opponent will do to either try and nullify your threats and try to see whether they can come out stronger than you do.
Okay.
That is where I thought the problem started from, because people were saying that we played well. I don't think we played well. Because,
really?
Yes.
But the point isn't the point
Let
about
me land. When you say you play well, we just watched the game. How many highlights did you see there?
Quite a few. On the face of it, to be honest, it was a boring game.
That
if you were watching as a neutral, there were very few chances.
Well, maybe people are looking at what happened at the AFCON.
Of
but
course.
I know my Black Stars. I know what we are capable of doing. At home, we dominated two departments of the game. Defensively, we're solid. Even in midfield, for the first 20, 30 minutes, that was where we dominated. But in the attacking third, where we needed to go and head the opponent, it was completely fruitless.
That's true.
And in my view, that is why I say we did not play well. And I'll defend it everywhere I go.
You're saying basically Nigeria were too comfortable.
They were very too comfortable.
Yeah.
Defensively, they were very
They were
too
never under threat at any point.
all. There was no point in that game where we had a sustained amount of attacking pressure for us to say that, look, in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes continuously, we were at them. It never happened. That is where my disappointment came from. And this is my view. This is what happened. Look, I listened to Otoado post-match. He talked about we going to a back three when we're in possession of the ball. That wasn't, in fact, true. It was when anytime the ball got to Jojo Wallacott and we had to start building from the back. Then Baba Idrisu, who per the system was in between the two centre backs. People are criticizing Thomas Partey. You dare not criticize him. Because tactically, once you drop his partner into the libero or in between the two centre backs, Partey has got nowhere to go. He needed to stay there and make sure the shape of the team is intact. And look at what the Nigerian did. When they realized that was what we were doing, they made sure that every time, the moment Baba Idrisu dropped off in between Amate and Jiku, they had two men in and around Partey. So anytime the ball went to him, quickly.
So that's why Partey was never at the receiving end of any of Baba Idrisu's passes.
That is
because every time Idrisu got the ball, Partey was
sandwiched by two men. So
he wasn't hiding.
No, he wasn't hiding. He wasn't hiding. Because at the end of the day, see, there are ways of building from the back. We chose on the day to build in that manner.
And Baba Idrisu's long-range passes...
It's very poor.
Yeah.
It has not been
because
nice.
Every time he tried to...
Going long, we lost possession of the ball.
Yeah, he gave the ball away.
So that was, in my view, the fundamental reason why Partey didn't influence the game.
I see.
Now, in that first half, one thing that I told you guys when the game was ongoing, we were playing a very inexperienced striker. Believe you me, the young man shocked me.
He was very good.
Afanijan.
Yeah.
Look, very inexperienced, but he showed on the day that he was ready.
Yeah.
He was up for it. And again, this is why I couldn't understand what the technical team did. The young man is inexperienced. He's playing as a topmost man, one striker. And behind him...
Even a role that he's not very familiar
with. Behind him, there were 3 attacking players. Offensive players in Kudus, Jordan, and Isayako. Fentil. In 90 minutes, there was only one combination between our striker
and our attacking
trio. That to me was unacceptable.
That was the knockdown for Isayaku's shot.
That's it. And the basic reason why that happened was that the gap, this is Clanton, I kept highlighting the gap between Jan and the 3 guys. I said, look, what is this?
Was he isolated? Yards? He was very isolated.
Too isolated. And look, all the balls he received, go watch again, all the balls he received came from Thomas Partey or the defenders. None of Afenijan balls came from Kudus, Isayaku, or Jordan Ayew.
Interesting.
And that is very poor attacking play. And the coaches should have rectified that. I thought that after the first 45 minutes, when we went and came back, we were the home team. We needed to go to a 4-1-4-1 situation. When I say 4-1-4-1, stop the Baba Idrisu dropping in between the 2 centre back to build.
Just let him be an anchor.
Let him be an anchor in the middle, and then push Thomas Partey a bit forward. To join Kudus. Look, in the modern
inverted diamond.
Inverted diamond. In the modern game, nobody can tell me that if you commit 5 men in attack and you lose the ball and you have 5 men behind the ball, it's not a solid defensive shape. It is very solid, awaiting the recovery run of the other players to come and then keep the kick.
So there were tactical deficiencies.
Absolutely. And
what would you change going to the second leg in Nigeria, especially considering that's an away game?
Yes.
And we need to be very careful.
One thing that we cannot do is to go there and say we are going to defend. Because
that would be a mistake.
That would be a huge mistake. This team is not cultured for that.
Because even though we have very good defensive players.
Even though we have very good defensive players. But because it is not a team that has played together for some time, if you go and restrict them to defend, they will break under pressure. So what we need to do, we need to have a holistic approach, a proper balance between putting men behind the ball and attacking when necessary. We should not go there and be very shy.
Will that require changing personnel?
Definitely.
Who would you bring in?
Look, I think I will start with the boy who came on for
Osman
Bukari and Joseph Pencil.
To support Afenajan.
To support Afenajan. And Isayaku.
I mean, that makes sense.
No, yes, Isayaku.
Because those two are quick and very experienced.
Very experienced. And they are goal-getters. Yes. They score goals.
They do.
Joseph Pencil scores.
Yes,
Osman scores goals. Because, you see, we don't have, our team hardly scores. We need to score to stand any chance of qualification.
True. That is true.
If we don't put the ball in the back of the net in Abuja, we should forget it. So therefore, this is when we need proper pacing players. You see, we should bring in players that will expose the gap. That is it, the right back, Ole Aina,
Yeah.
And then the left back. From what we saw, the two of them liked bumping forward. We should remind them of what Bukari did to the left back
when he got
hold of him,
in,
and he had gone on the overlap, and the ball was just put in the space. Even he couldn't get closer to his shadow. And I think that, will our captain be back?
No.
Jerry said, did he stay suspended?
Yes.
Okay, so if he's suspended,
he wasn't even named. In this
he wasn't even. So that's good because of suspension.
Yeah.
If he wasn't suspended, I wouldn't have started him though. He will be a nice, beautiful asset. See, if we don't manage the game up to the 60 minutes, look, everybody watching this program, take it from me. If we stay in there for 60 minutes and it stays 0-0,
we are qualified.
We'll beat the Nigerians 1-0 because then the supporters will come at them. That stadium is 60,000. I believe there will be 70,000 plus people in there.
If the Abuja people come. They say they don't like watching football.
But they will come. I believe there will be 70,000+ in there. And once they come out, and looking at their record at home, they've thrown away a 4-0 lead before. They've lost to a team.
They've actually scored only 3 goals in the World Cup qualifying at home.
At home. So we need to.
In 3 games, so they really don't score.
So we need to stay in there. And look, and this is a personal advice to the technical team. Look, in football, when the stages are high, when you see the obvious, you don't dwell over it. When you see the obvious change, you should do it.
All right.
And that was one of our downfall. There was no way Isayaku should have lasted
as long as he did.
last minute.
Yeah.
Looking at
78 minutes.
Yes, looking at those we have on the bench.
Yeah.
And there was no way Jordan should have lasted.
Especially considering he's recovering from COVID.
COVID.
I mean, they didn't
the man
help
has
him.
been recovering from COVID.
Yeah, and only trained once.
And let me highlight this. We need to clearly define who takes our set pieces.
Thank you.
Look,
that's
in
a very
this modern
important
game,
point.
you don't do that.
It's like we are experimenting in-game.
What is that? That is why we've got 4 renowned coaches in there.
Yeah.
So you put pressure on a player who shouldn't be taking the set pieces, and he's the one doing it.
All right, Coach.
Please, let me say my last thing to Ghanaians. This team is undergoing transition. No Ghanaian should be disappointed if we fail to qualify.
Yeah.
Nobody. But at the end of the day, I am happy that we are giving ourselves the best chance to qualify. And my last point will go to the president of the Ghana Football Association. Look, if what he saw in Kumasi will not change his orientation 360-10 on the way he talks to the people of this country, then I don't know what sort of person he is.
Coach.
Because look, the support.
Coach, yes.
And then look, let me salute Enimado. He's my very good friend.
Yeah. Samuel Enimado.
Yes, Samuel Enimado.
Why are you saluting him?
I salute him because of his humility. And I believe, look, I spoke to so many people who told me that they went to the stadium because of what Enimado did. You saw him knelt down and pleaded with the people of Ashanti.
That he was on Football Made in Ghana. He was very...
very humble and very submissive. Pleaded for forgiveness. This is what you do to bring people together.
All right, Coach.
You don't go and disgrace us and come back and insult us.
Hold your horses. Coach.
When I'm firing these people, allow me to fire them.
You
should allow me to fire them.
You have fired them enough over time. You have fired them. The fire has gotten to them.
You keep making the same errors.
Look, the fire is enough.
We love them,
Coach. Yes.
But they should do the right thing.